Okay, so thanks again for joining us. Just some Zoom logistics before we get started here. We are going to put you all on mute. If I can mute all. Okay. But you can feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions. There's also a chat bar, which Kristen, you obviously found. And but again, feel free to unmute yourself at any time if you have questions. This is a small group, so we'll try to keep this casual and keep things moving here. All right, so I'm going to share our screen to, I think this is the one that so you all should see a slideshow right now. Please, if you do not see this slideshow, then please say something. Everyone see the slideshow? Just get like a thumbs up. Okay. Well, hopefully everyone can see it. Okay, so we're just going to go through these slides. This shouldn't be more than about a half an hour. Okay, I see it. Great. Thanks, Kristen. All right, so again, we're just going to be going through the basics of applying for a VISTA. And this is the date. So this class is January 30th, 2017 to January 29th, 2018. Come on, here we go. Okay, so let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Erin Barstow. I'm the VISTA program manager here at Montana Campus Compact. I'm a VISTA alum, and I believe strongly in national service. Really, it brought me out to Montana, and it really helped me grow some deep roots in the Missoula community, of which I have not left.
My name is Lacey Fiore. I'm the program specialist. I am a VISTA alum as well with the Montana Campus Compact. I serve as a member and then a VISTA leader. And same as Erin, is what brought me out to Montana and kind of why I stayed.
Great. Okay, so we thought it might be helpful to do a quick little run through of AmeriCorps because it's as you can see, it's a deep web. So basically, the Corporation for National Service is a government entity that administers AmeriCorps funds throughout the country. There are three main programs: Senior Corps, AmeriCorps, and Social Innovation Fund. We fall within AmeriCorps, so we shorten our program to VISTA, but really it's AmeriCorps VISTA. Within AmeriCorps, there's NCCC, which is primarily disaster relief, VISTA, which is focusing on anti-poverty work, as well as capacity building, and then state and national, which is more direct service, meeting unmet community needs. So within VISTA, within the state of Montana, we have a state office, and that office administers funds throughout a few different intermediaries. Montana Campus Compact is an intermediary. So as you can see on the right here, there's a red circle, and we fall along this flow chart. So Montana Campus Compact, we apply for AmeriCorps funds to our state office, and within that, there are VISTA subsites, and that's presumably you applying for a VISTA, as well as a supervisor, which is you or someone in your office, and then below that is VISTA. The important part here is that you're really going to be corresponding with our office, and our office will do the higher up, basically reporting and applying to federal funds at that state level. Okay, so let's get into Montana Campus Compact. So we are a statewide coalition of colleges and universities who are committed to addressing community needs through the resources of higher education. Basically, our mission boils down to building communities, engaging citizens. Part of how we do that is by administering VISTA grants, VISTA projects throughout the state. And we place members in community organizations, public agencies, or college campuses to create and expand programs that A, build capacity, and B, bring low-income individuals and communities out of poverty. Those are the two main tenets of VISTA that really sets it apart from other AmeriCorps programs. I think Anna, you're on the call, Anna is a part of Montana Conservation Corps, which is an AmeriCorps program. That's more direct service. VISTA is focused on indirect service and poverty. Okay, so some impacts, just kind of a reminder that VISTA, it's bigger than the state of Montana, it's bigger than Montana Campus Compact. AmeriCorps engages more than 75,000 Americans every year, and VISTA members learn valuable work skills, they earn money for education, and develop an appreciation for citizenship. So we like to think that VISTA really sparks that community service fire of individuals to continue to serve throughout their lives. So you're going to mention.
So so AmeriCorps just reached their millionth member, which I thought was really exciting.
That is pretty exciting. They had a whole day to celebrate.
Yeah.
So some other details. This is you. Go ahead, Lacey.
Oh yeah. So our members receive a living stipend. It is $4.90 biweekly. That's pre-tax, and it's more. So our VISTA members can have a holistic view of the community they're serving. So they live at that poverty level, and they do get health care, child care if necessary, and an optional life insurance. Relocation funds from CNCS, which is the Corporation for National and Community Service. It's based on their miles traveled for service, and then from our office, we provide a $550 settling in allowance, again, if they travel 50 miles or more. And we do offer specific trainings, the pre-service orientations. We gather all of our members for their classes, and we go over just everything. And the Community Building Institute, which I believe Anna is taking right now. So it's a 6-week webinar-based session that I do twice a year. Building Engaged Citizens, that's coming up. It's specific to Montana Campus Compact members. It's an in-person training that we do. And then the Serve Montana Symposium, it's every national service member in the state of Montana gathers in Helena for 3 days. And then we do provide a close of service, preparing our members for life after AmeriCorps.
Great. And we also offer monthly check-in calls for members, as well as a bunch of resources for supervisors throughout the VISTA term.
Oh, so sorry. So members must complete their full term to receive the Education Award, which is $5,731. So an individual can serve up to 2 full terms, earning $11,550 in Education Awards per lifetime. They have to complete all reporting, which we can go into later. And then the host site, this is a commitment for you as well for that full term.
Another thing we'll mention as well is that Education Award can be applied to future education, and there's lots of universities and colleges in Montana and across the nation that will match that award to a certain amount, so that further extends that award, and also to pay off student loans. Okay, so we really want to hammer in that a VISTA is what a VISTA is and what a VISTA is not, because you're not hiring an employee. We're assigning a national service member to your site for a very specific project. And of course, their service is going to may extend beyond that project, but really, the focus is that they're there to build capacity. It's not so much direct service. It's pretty inevitable that VISTAs will serve in some capacity in direct service. Direct service is fun and engaging, and may sometimes be more so than being behind the scenes. We kind of say that the split is like 90% indirect service, 10% direct service. So again, we encourage direct service, but the whole purpose of a VISTA is that building capacity behind the scenes work. Okay. Another big component of Montana Campus Compact VISTA projects is fostering these campus community partnerships. So therefore, the community can gain access and benefit from resources of higher education, and the campus can really give back to their community. So it's vital to our mission. We work to improve community life by educating students. We're educating VISTA members who are then also hopefully educating students at colleges and universities to dig in civically, again, addressing community needs. And there's lots of different ways that campus community partnership can take form, and we can help you to brainstorm options. A lot of times, community entities will utilize campuses for volunteer recruitment, for event space, for classroom presentations, so outreach, as well as for help with basically expertise on specific program development. So we're going to go through the application, and there's a link here that I think will work, and we'll go through that. But basically, the components of our application, there's this actual application. It's a non-editable Word. Of course, you're able to fill in. And if you have trouble using that platform, let us know, and we'll make sure you can fill out an application, as well as an MOU and attachments. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's see if this works. Please move this window away from the shared application. Oh, interesting. Well, you can, so this is, I think you can see our website right now. And this is, it's Montana Campus Compact, so mtcompact.org. You basically scroll to the bottom of the screen.
It says your screen sharing is paused.
Oh,
I don't think they can see it.
interesting.
So do a new share.
Okay. Technical difficulties here.
And then you share the desktop and not like
Okay.
an actual PowerPoint.
So
So like that's not
this
desktop one or two, whichever one you want to.
Lacey is a Zoom extraordinaire here, so she's going to help me. Okay, so I think, but they're only seeing this part here. So we're going to move this over here, and I think now you can see this.
Can you guys see the website?
Someone could just comment if you can see the website right now. That would be helpful. Yep, awesome. Thank you, Kristen. Okay, so this is the kind of prospective host site tab. So basically, our website, mtcompact.org. You scroll down to the bottom, there's MTCC VISTA under initiatives, and this information is under prospective host site. You should have all received an application by now, so hopefully this won't be so difficult to navigate. We will post this Zoom webinar playback onto this site. There's also some important links and materials. I really want to emphasize the MTCC VISTA assignment description guidance. We'll talk more about that in our application, but that's going to be a really great resource moving forward. So you can see here that there's January 2017 VISTA application. I just have it pulled up here, so I'm just going to use this Word document. All right, so on first glance, our application looks pretty thick because there's a lot of guidance in the beginning. We think it's really important. Please review it, but we'll kind of skim through it right now for the purposes of this presentation. And if you're not seeing, so right now I'm scrolling through the application, and if you cannot see me scrolling, please let me know. I'm going to pause right now on page 2. It's just kind of what's required of an application. So we do require a letter of support from a campus partner if you're a community entity. That's showing us that you're dedicated to fulfilling our mission by engaging a community or a campus partner in this project. Again, I'll state that if you're struggling to find out how you can engage your local campus, call us up. We have a lot of great connections around the state. We'd love to help you to solidify that role. Other big pieces are a letter of commitment from your leadership, an MOU that really goes through the terms, conditions, responsibilities of you as a host site, you as a supervisor, and then also the costs associated. And we'll go through timeline stuff in a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll through the important details here, but we're going to have you go through that on your own. Let us know if you have questions. So now our application, there's this page of basic information, organization information, kind of what your organization does, and then the cost. So if you are a nonprofit, you are a non-affiliate, that's an $8,350 cost to you and your organization. You can pay it out quarterly. We can also work with you with that cost, just in terms of how and when you get that to us. Montana Campus Compact affiliate, those are for our 18 colleges and universities around the state that pay dues to us. That's why that cost is reduced. Okay, so we have 3 priority programming areas, really 2, because education is twofold here. So we are Montana Campus Compact. We're a network of colleges and universities. We administer education-based national service projects. So education, again, is twofold: K-12 success or school readiness. That's really, examples of that are building an after-school program, building a volunteer base to administer some part of maybe, in-classroom activities. It's to further learning and educational success of K-12 students. Another big component of that of education is college access and success. So these are really helping kids go to college, or basically to find success at post-high school. And another big initiative of ours are veterans. Okay, so again, if you're like, I don't know where I fall under here, our priority programming areas. It's a big important focus of our application and the projects that we run. So let us know if you need some help in figuring where your project falls under. Project description. This is just provide us a good synopsis of what the VISTA will be doing for their what's the ultimate goal, what's their service for the year. The role of college campus, because we can't emphasize enough that that's important to us. And getting on to project assessment, this is the meat of your application. This is really explaining how you're alleviating poverty and what unique about your project? How is it helping to meet needs, relevant needs in your community? We want to emphasize so strongly that we need some statistics, local, regional, statewide here, and rather than just kind of copying and pasting some statistics, please have those statistics form a narrative to answer these questions. We wouldn't be talking about this if that's what's been happening. Please, again, form those statistics into a applicable narrative here. Okay, part 3, VISTA project performance measures. These performance measures, I've said this before, but they're not sexy, but they're required of us. We have to report to our state office, and they report to the Corporation for National Service with these measures. They're kind of standard across the board. We ask you to choose a maximum of 2 outputs and 2 outcomes. So really, you just need 1 output, 1 outcome. If you're struggling to find one that kind of fits your project, let us know, and we can help you. But we would ask you to specify a target and then also data collection method. So for example, for output number 1, or G3-3.1, number of community volunteers recruited by your organization and by your VISTA. Say, okay, we're going to recruit 20 volunteers throughout the year. And how are we going to do this? Well, the VISTA is going to develop a database to track those volunteers, or we have sign-up sheets. This information is important because your VISTA will be reporting on these performance measures monthly to our office. And from there, we kind of take those and move them up the chain. So that's why those are important. Okay, we're almost through here. You want anything else? Good so far? Okay. So the VISTA assignment description. This is your VISTA's service description. I almost said job, but again, it's not a job. Service description. Also, it's a work plan. It's timelines. It's how you're going to monitor your progress and stay on track throughout the year. While this is a really important document, we do want to emphasize that it's flexible. That we understand that things happen, and maybe 3 months in or 6 months in, some things change where, we're not going to be able to fulfill these initial objectives and activities we lined out. We can work with you to adjust it. So, but for now, really be thinking about what's the overall goal. That's kind of primary here, goal of the project, and really thinking about what's the goal in terms of building your organizational capacity, and also really answering the question of how will this project work to alleviate poverty? Because again, that's the main tenet of VISTA is anti-poverty and capacity building. So getting into objectives and activities. Objectives are the overall tasks, basically, are kind of components of a VISTA project, and then how that VISTA will reach them, describing the activities section. We have some objectives and activities already put in because these are the ones that are important to us. The performance measures, there's objective number 1 is the VISTA member will orient themselves to project performance measurement requirements in order to successfully implement each component and accurately report on progress. And activities within that, and we require you, this is kind of highlighted in yellow here, to enter your performance measures that you selected from the previous page into that section, really so that we know that you know the performance measures and that the VISTA understands them as well and can accurately report on them every month. The other mandatory objective is determining the role of your campus partner, and really that just entails meeting with them, discussing collaboration on a continuing basis. And the rest are for you. And if you need more space, I don't think you can edit this Word format, but talk to us and we can help you out to fit it all in. The last piece of this is VISTA assistance. Basically, how can you help a VISTA kind of beyond placing one? This stuff isn't required, but what is required is that we really ask you to help and assist with a member's housing. Housing is tough across the country, but definitely in Montana, especially in more rural communities. So we just ask you to commit to assisting your VISTA, whether that's through sending them Craigslist posts, connecting them to community resources or links with their search for housing. Okay, any questions on the application? That was a quick run through. Hopefully it provides some help, but again, we're available to answer any questions, definitely, about that process. Okay, so let's get back to our PowerPoint. I don't know if I have to move this over here, but I'm going to. So hopefully now you are all looking back at our PowerPoint. We're going to move on. So again, these are just tips and tools, basically what I mentioned, just kind of in a nutshell. that again, it's anti-poverty focused, use statistics, and that VISTA assignment description again. Please use that tool on that website, that guidance. We also have a little piece of guidance in the beginning of our application, but this one particularly helpful because that's a big piece of this application, is outlining what your VISTA member will be doing for their year. All right, Lacey, take it away.
All right, so this is our recruitment process. So we do post on AmeriCorps.gov, and we recruit from there as well. So we can see potential applicants on the back end, and that's how we do the bulk of our recruiting. So it is a nationwide search. We post it to our website, the National Service Recruitment. We do all of our social media outlets, our blog, our Facebook, our newsletters, mass email to our campus affiliates, our advisory board, University of Montana students. Because we're here, it's easy for us to go over and get some flyers up, go to classroom presentations, job volunteer sites, flyers just around the community. And did I miss anything on?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so your participation in recruitment is vital as well. So campus partners listed on your application, so university job and volunteer sites, university Facebook page, professor classroom recruitment. If you're not in Missoula, your organization's volunteer pools, Facebook posts, Craigslist ads, and we have flyers that we can send you. We can print them and mail them to you, or email them, whatever you would prefer.
Yeah, and that campus, we emphasize utilizing your campus as part of this process because they're great tools to reach out to university students who may be graduating and looking for fulfilling, meaningful service, and then also their alumni networks too. I think this is you too.
So once we get our position listings live on the My AmeriCorps portal, we do post them, and we have them directly linked to our website. So where that red arrow is under service opportunities, we will list everything. There'll be a description, where the service opportunity is, and a direct link to the application itself.
And we will send you all this information as soon as we get this. Assuming that we approve and everything, we'll go through those timelines in a bit here, but we'll let you know as soon as we get get things posted on our website. Oh, cool. So some basics about VISTA members. So VISTAs must have a bachelor's degree, must also be at least 18 years of age, must have 2 completed references. This helps us and also you screen these applicants. They also must pass background checks. So the National Sex Offender they must not be a sex offender, and they also must pass a fingerprinting and our own background checks. You're welcome to do more screening on your end, but that's what we do, and these are the stipulations of VISTA members here. So brief overview of our member screening process. So once our application is up on AmeriCorps.gov and on our website, we receive applications, we review them, review the references, we do our intake interview, we keep it open-ended. We basically discuss national service, the year-long commitment, living on that small wage, the education awards, serving in Montana, those basic interview questions, kind of what's your strengths and weaknesses, again, pretty basic. And the step 2 is once we think that, okay, we think this is going to be a good applicant, we pass them on to whatever sites they are interested in, and they specify that. And we can also nudge them in certain ways, kind of helping to push your service sites and projects. The second step is for you to then interview these qualified applicants, and we encourage you to come up with your own kind of screening tools, your own interview questions, and really take the time to explain what the project is, really get to know this candidate, because, well, ultimately you're going to be working with them. We will obviously be supervising them in a more indirect capacity, but you're going to be the day-to-day. Is this person excited about this project? And are they going to fulfill our VISTA projects? We really want you to take some time in determining that. Third step is and I guess we can expect to receive 2 to 5 applicants per project. So in this, as soon as we get recruitment growing, it's going to be pretty quick, especially when we send you along an applicant. These applicants are likely looking at a plethora of other service opportunities around Montana and around the country. So we really, and we remind you of this when we kind of send you an email with their information. We remind you that we really encourage you to reach out to them quickly to set up an interview, because again, it's a competitive process. They're applying all over the place, likely. And another thing I'll mention is when we send these applicants on to you, we send on their AmeriCorps application, their references, and our interview questions, the responses to our questions, and some other notes, some other feedback pieces that could be helpful. So then you choose a top candidate and you let us know, and basically because we want to make sure that we know who has an offer out, basically we'd like to do that all through our office. So if you say, wow, that candidate's great, we want to onboard them, we want them to commit to this project, you let us know, and then we make the offer officially to that candidate and then kind of go through the paperwork process with them, and we let you know if they say yes. Okay. I'm going to pause because I see that we have a chat question. Who do you say checks references, MTCC or the host site? Good question, Kristen. So we do an initial reference check. Sometimes people apply to these positions and they have either 1 or 0 reference checks, depending on the timeline. If we're getting really close to the end of our recruitment process or session, we'll send them on without references, but ideally we like those reference checks. They can be really helpful. So we review those references first and really pass on the top level candidates to you. But you are ultimately the one determining if this person is going to be a good fit. So we of course recommend that you also look through all the materials that we hand off to you about this candidate.
I'm not sure if we said this, but the references come through on their initial application through the AmeriCorps portal. So it's there with their statement, like why they want to serve, their community service background, their education, things like that. So it's all lumped together. And we save those in PDF or Word documents, and we send the email on to you. So you can review the references that way.
Great. Yeah, great question, or great response. So yeah, again, it's a document basically that the reference fills out that we can see. Okay. I feel like I was going to say one more. Well, maybe it'll come to me. So just briefly here, best practices for supervision. We have a lot of other resources that basically once we find a candidate for you, we're going to help orient you to what that year is going to look like. But some things to just take note of on the front end here as you're thinking about this process and applying for a VISTA is to expect that 5 to 10% of your week will be dedicated to supervising this VISTA, perhaps more in the beginning because most of our VISTAs are right out of college or pretty new to the work environment, so it's really going to take some time setting them up and establishing them in a workplace. We'd like to say to folks that these candidates are likely not going to come with a full resume that's totally aligned to your service, to this project, your project or your organization. But mostly things to look for are enthusiasm, our commitment and dedication to service, really the willingness to kind of go make a difference. Kind of look for those kind of personality attributes rather than their work history, because lots of times it'll be pretty slim in terms of that work history. So kind of what you're doing is you're helping to establish someone in a workplace, and again to ignite that flame in them of service. So it's much more than just a job. I'm going to pause because I see another chat item. Do you address deadlines? Oh, we're getting there. Thanks for joining us, Rita. But we're coming up on the deadline section here in a little bit. And if you missed the first little bit, we also are recording this, so we can we'll send that along in an email after this is over. So again, it's much more than a job. This person is likely or sometimes may be moving across the state, moving across the country to serve in your Montana community. We really hope that you, again, provide them a holistic orientation to your service, the project, your service site, your organization, and the community too. That being said, these members, they're national service members, but we hope that you treat them as staff, that you include them in staff events and activities, that you respect them like you would your staff, because remember, they're not getting paid a whole lot to do a whole lot for your organization. There's also a tool, we're not going to go through this, but it's just thinking about what is your supervision style. When we orient and train these VISTA members, we're going to be talking a lot about communication styles, leadership styles. And we encourage you to do the same in preparation for your VISTA. Anything else you want to add?
I think so.
Okay. Oops, I click off of this. So speaking of orienting your VISTA, we will provide you with a template. It's basically a 3-week template. We call it the on-site orientation and training plan. And it's your responsibility to look that over, make sure you understand that, and to customize it as you see fit. But really the purpose is to establish working relationships between you and your VISTA, the staff, your community, and for VISTAs to really get to know the project, their campus partners, and so much more. So it's kind of a timeline of that we hope will help you in getting started with your VISTA. So again, as soon as we finalize your application and we got you on board, then with this VISTA process, then we're going to send this over to you to review.
So expectations of you, the host site. So we expect that you would help us with the VISTA member recruitment locally. So we'll do the national search. If you could just do that local piece, that would be great. And participate in interviewing member applicants. We ask that it's within 1 to 2 days. Like Erin said, they're most likely applying for just a lot of other positions, and you don't want to miss out on really awesome people. And so supporting the VISTA member, obviously, once they are assigned to the host site, creating and implementing that 3-week on-site orientation training is pretty huge. And then completing all reporting requirements by assigned deadlines, and we can go over that at a different time. And in your host site participation fees that we talked about earlier.
Great. And other big things, just kind of not to beat the, well, I don't want to say a metaphor that I'm not going to fully understand. To beat the horse? Okay. Anyway, to ensure that we're working towards establishing that campus community partnership, and that it's vigorously pursued, and really understanding that Lacey mentioned this before, but understanding that it's a commitment on your end as well, that really seeing through with your VISTA placement, helping them if there are some struggles. Again, we go through this rigorous screening process, but we can't really account for homesickness or any kind of exterior or external factors that may come up, but we hope that you commit to helping your VISTAs to succeed. And we're also there to help you succeed in that process as well. To ensure that VISTA members can attend those events and training opportunities that Lacey mentioned as well earlier in these slides, to assist with housing, again, that's a big incentive to recruit for a local candidate, because potentially they already have housing established, so they understand the community and where to find housing. And then if your VISTA member is traveling, that you provide them either gas mileage reimbursement or a vehicle. For any of our sponsored events or trainings, we'll provide, carpool information or vehicles potentially, and gas mileage reimbursement. So that's just something to start thinking about now. Okay, and the timeline. So our applications are due October 31st, which is pretty soon. It's a week from Monday. Again, be in touch with questions, any questions you have in filling out that application. We would love for all of our applications to be in by October 31st, because really the sooner that we get your application in, the sooner that we finalize it, the sooner we can start recruiting for a great candidate for you. So we're going to be reviewing those applications, making sure that they meet our standards, that they meet the state office's standards. We'll actually kind of send that on to the state level for approval. Once we find out that approval, hopefully it won't take that long, but at least a week or two, we will certainly let you know when our application or your site is going to be live on the AmeriCorps.gov site, as well as our website. But again, it's never too early to start thinking about that recruitment process and brainstorming candidates who might potentially be a great fit. We will have another orientation that's going to be led by our state office in mid-December. This is another great resource for you in prepping for this year. And then our end date recruitment is January 10th, but our goal is before the holidays, because we don't want to be sending you a candidate to interview on December 23rd. Say if you do celebrate Christmas. I suppose if you don't, that might not be a big deal. But there's a lot of us who probably won't be in the office as well. We'll be traveling. So our goal is by mid-December, which is, again, it's really tight. So we really encourage you to help us, to help you find a VISTA member. And then that start date is going to be the end of January on the 30th, and we'll run through January 29th, 2018. Okay. I think that's everything we have for you today. Again, this is hopefully just a good overview on the application, our timeline, kind of the recruitment process, what that looks like on our end, what that's going to look like on yours, and a little bit about supervising a VISTA, starting to think about how much time and your capacity it's going to take. But again, we really we believe strongly in VISTA and the tremendous help to an organization that VISTA can provide for a low cost, considering that of a salary plus benefits. So that's our overview for today. You can stick around for any questions. Again, we'll email this out because we have recorded it. And please be in touch with any questions. So again, we'll stay on, but that concludes our webinar. Thanks so much for your time. Okay, I'm going to stop the share.